Little tension in the air, maybe here.
Yeah, so we'll jump right into there. So last night, in case you live under a rock, which I'm pretty sure everybody watching any of these clips, this talk show, watched the game last night. 6.6 million people in Canada.
Was that the number?
Watched the Leafs and Habs game at
That's
some
incredible.
point last night.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It's the most aired regular season game on Sportsnet ever. So that's huge. It's the first game of the season.
So what's Gary Bettman talking about? They're going to lose money. Like, are they going to make a
Well,
shitload?
just from concessions, tickets.
Yeah.
I guess it's a gate-driven league, they say.
But they are gonna do the best they can. And I mean, anyway, so yeah, the Montreal Canadiens falling in their first game, the Scotia North
Everyone's
Division.
looking at me.
Let
here.
Matt go first.
Well, yeah, we'll start with Matt. Matt, what do you think? How you feeling?
You know what? You guys can have your win, your extra point.
Hold on, Belly. Do you have a tissue? Just you got a box Kleenex for him?
Here
He
we
was
go.
serious.
Here we go.
That was
I'm
good.
looking around.
That was good
Here-
acting.
Yeah. You guys take your
was
win.
very good.
You guys take your win. I'll take the better performance. I thought the Habs outplayed the Leafs, especially 5-on-5 throughout the night. Forecheck was going heavy. The D were playing heavy. Our top line made the Matthews line invisible. Matthews still hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal against Deneau in his career. And Matthews is one of the best 5-on-5 goal scorers in the league. So what does that say about Phil Deneau? But you know what? It was a fantastic game. The weirdest thing, though, was, for a game with such high energy, it was quiet.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic game. Sucks for the Habs to go out that way, but I liked a lot of things from the Leafs too. Morgan Riley was a stud, other than getting walked by Nick Suzuki. Outside of that,
That was a nice move.
huge
That
minutes.
was a nice move.
Yeah, huge minutes from him, and he looked good. And Wayne Simmons clocking Ben Sherrod. I'm sure you guys.
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. That just, even 3-1, you just start
That turned
jumping off the
momentum
couch
of
and
the
start
game.
yelling.
Oh yeah, it was kind of a depressing game at that point. Honestly, I mean, you looked at Freddie didn't look too good in that yesterday, and it's 3-1. You're kind of like,
Yeah, Freddie
oh,
always
man.
sucks in the first month.
Yeah,
too,
I
so.
know. Freddie heats up towards the end, but
Yeah.
then things aren't going our way, and boom, Wayner just drops the gloves and beats the piss out of
Worst time
Sherrod.
to fight. Worst
Brings
time
the
to fight
energy.
if you're Montreal.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
like,
know
what
what
are
was
you
going
doing?
on there.
Yeah.
Well,
Because he had to think the time to think about it, too. They squared off. It wasn't like he was grabbed and the
yeah.
next thing. So,
Wait,
that was.
yeah, he dropped his gloves first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was feeding him the cross checks that Matthews was getting all game,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the thing is, Wayne Simmons won't take that. Matthews might take it, and he's not going to fight you any day of the week. But
Yeah.
Simmons will turn around and beat your face in.
You
So
get taught that rule in Pee Wee. The 2-1 lead, 3-1 lead. You don't fight. You don't do anything.
Don't go to the box.
Well, they don't fight
yeah.
in Pee Wee, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne
hockey.
Simmons owes him one, and we got 9 matchups coming throughout the rest of this year. So
Yeah.
that's not the first time Wayne Simmons is going to be fighting a Montreal Canadian.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
The little thumbs up. Love the thumbs up.
Well, he
Yeah.
jacked up the
Yeah.
bench, too, when he was giving the old, bumping up the boys.
Yeah.
And like I said, what he said after the game was really just, he's like, I know what my role is here. Like, the boys needed a spark. Weren't playing well. And I don't know if I necessarily believe the whole, like, he's the reason they got that back in it, because, I mean, it was 5-on-3 power play goal, then another power play goal. But
boneheaded play by Weber, clearing it over the glass there.
I hate that rule just for the simple fact, like, who knows? The ice might have just been put in, like, especially in the regular season, you could have the Raptors playing there. The next night, you could have a hockey game. All the NHL ices, a lot of them are just shitty to begin with. I hate that rule, puck over the glass. I absolutely hate that rule.
I kind of like it.
Really?
I think if you're being paid that
What
much
year were you
money-
born? 2000?
2002.
Yeah, there you go. That's
So
why.
if
You're a young guy.
I mean, if you're being paid that much money to play in the NHL, if you're Shea Weber, keep the puck inside the rink. Like there's you can't tell me that a chip in the ice made the puck go an extra. 3
No,
feet,
it's just
put it
more or
over
less when the
glass.
puck, like, you see it when they coming up the ice, the puck stays flat, and then all of a sudden it just does a little, and the next thing you know, you're under it. I mean,
He's a big puck off the glass kind of guy.
a lot of guys are.
Close
You're taught
calls
that
and-
glassing out, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, but no, I didn't think the Leafs played as bad as some people making out to sound. Like a lot of Leafs fans on Twitter were just like not happy.
Well,
It's
that's
like,
what they do.
I don't
every
think you
night.
can expect
That's-
the Leafs to go out there, especially it's the first game of the year. So either team, I don't know how much you can really take away from it. There was no exhibition games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
we-
gassed at the end.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was some
dude,
guys
that
out there
overtime
cheap.
was- yeah.
yeah.
Matthews was out there for like 30 seconds. He couldn't get on the back check. Like
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
dying. So
Well,
I mean,
he doesn't backtrack anyways.
you know what? I
Honestly.
think Matthews is like he got a little mixed up off the faceoff there on the Anderson goal, but I don't mind Matthews at all in his own zone, like D zone. Like he wins a lot of stick battles,
So
of stick
shifty.
battles.
He's easily
Yeah.
he's gone.
It's all his
You know what I
position
mean?
just has to get
Yeah.
a little bit better. But
Yeah.
all the like one-on-one battles, man, that's the stuff that takes a lot of people a long time to learn, right? So I'm not too upset about that. I think both teams' power play was clicking, and normally you don't see that to start
Yeah.
off the year, especially with no practice. I mean, what was it? I mean, the Leafs got that lucky bounce at the end, but for that, I thought it was a pretty even game.
I loved Anderson on Montreal. I thought he was a
He
great
had a
fit.
hell of a game.
A great
Yeah.
fit on
and
that
he's
team.
smart. He knew it was Tavares, and he's like,
Yeah.
little stutter step, and boom.
Yeah.
He's an
Blew
NHL
right
guy.
past him, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
And
just
he's
plays
probably
that
going to
role.
get better once, he
I
didn't play
agree,
all
yeah.
last year.
I
You
agree.
know who I think he's going to create a lot of space for? Drouin.
Oh, big
Because they were
time.
playing on the same line
Yep.
last night,
And
if I'm not wrong.
Suzuki was in
And-
the middle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's one thing that Drouin always had with the Mooseheads was just tons of space. He could do whatever he wants. Obviously, he can't do that at the NHL level, but with Anderson there bumping and grinding, who knows, man? Drouin could get another 20 goals this year with a little bit of space because all Drouin needs is that little little space, and he's good to go.
His assists will go up.
exactly.
Yes,
assists should go up
absolutely,
by a little bit.
absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've mentioned that in some of my videos where with the Moose, it was a smart center in the middle,
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon, Jonathan Drouin on the left or right, and big overager Stephen Fournier, power forward on that line, one of the best
Making
lines
room.
in the queue that year.
Just making room.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that with the addition of Anderson, this could be Drouin's year.
But no, he looked good. Looked solid.
I thought
Yeah.
Suzuki looked really good for the Habs last night, too.
He did, yeah.
I thought he looked really good. I know, these guys are so young. You can't expect them to be great in the face-off dot so young. But, other than that, I thought Suzuki was really good last night. And I thought Matthews, man, 14 shot attempts.
Yeah.
I thought that line was buzzing last night. I loved how often Leafs would chuck it back to the defense to open up more space to throw back up to the forwards for the breakouts and stuff like that. Even the neutral zone, quick up to the red line, and they'll just chuck it back to the point or back to the defense. Puck possession for the Leafs was pretty good last night. Just the same stuff with the Leafs. Sometimes they get caught running around their own zone, but it's only early. But hell of a game, man. If that's any
Yeah.
indication, this
Oh,
Canadian
exactly.
division,
Oh my
this
God,
is
yeah,
gonna be
we're in for
ridiculously
it.
fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Ridiculous.
And isn't there games on tonight? Every
Yeah,
night?
so we-
next 115 days.
Yeah,
Edmonton
Yeah.
and Vancouver played last night. They're right back at it tonight.
yeah. Winnipeg,
wild.
Calgary
break.
tonight.
Yeah.
Before we get away from Habs and Leafs, I got a little rant here, okay? We're one game in to the Canadian division. First Habs and Leafs matchup. We already have Leafs media, Leafs captain, and Austin Matthews' agent complaining about the contact in front of the net with the cross checks. We got to protect our stars. Come on now. This is the NHL. This is hockey, okay? I saw Matthews get a nice cross check in on
Oh, yeah, that's
Sherratt
true, that's true.
after Ben Sherratt crunched him. I saw Deneau take a high stick
But
in the face
that's
there
the one thing
in
that
the
that
slot.
should have been a penalty.
What?
I don't think anybody's debating the Deneau thing should have been a penalty.
Oh, yeah, of course.
100%. My thing with the cross checks I'm with you. I have no problem with giving shots to guys from that to move them around. Those weren't shots just to move someone.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if Matthews was to turn around and cross check them, it could be way less than that. And it's going to be a penalty for interference. It's like with Johnny Gaudreau. They're slashing on the hands. It was always allowed.
Yeah.
And you break a hand. Crosby on who with Ottawa? Mathot with his
Mathot.
finger hanging out. It's like
That was nasty.
you can position and I have no problem. But anybody who's played hockey at any contact level, your shoulder pads don't go down to your
No, there's no rib
ass.
cage. No.
Exactly. There's no rib cage. So those you can literally do some real damage. I have no problem with the first one. I'm all game for the first one.
It's just
First
letting
one
them know
can be
you're there.
hard.
Let them know you're
Yeah,
there. That's
but
it.
you can't take two shots like
Yeah.
that. That really doesn't have any you know what I mean? I think if you take it out of the game, it's not making the game softer either, and that goes both ways.
I
I'm not
agree,
just
yeah.
saying that as a Leafs fan. If Gallagher's standing in front of the net, where Gallagher's small, if Gallagher gets cross-checked and it rides up his back and hits him in the head, it should be a penalty every single time.
Except he's been cross-checked in the face 2 times and he has 2 penalty minutes against himself in both of those plays. Never been called.
Oh, and
So
like I said, I'm
he's
not-
taking
yeah.
Gallagher's taken a beating throughout his career. It's just funny that first game of the season, we're getting these complaints and it's not going to stop.
Well, a lot
this
of it is
division's
'cause, like
gonna
I said,
be a
it's
bloodbath.
Matthews.
And when the refs aren't looking, it's going to happen. So whether or not it's getting called or not, it's going to happen. So
Oh, yeah.
protect yourself or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Get used to it.
I'm
Habs D's
all
heavy.
for the heavy hockey.
Yeah.
As much as Belly said, I'm a young guy. I love the old time
Yeah.
hockey. I love watching Wayne Simmons drop the gloves in game 1. And he knows his role. He's firing the boys up. But I'm with Coleman on that one. It's not necessarily a we need to protect our stars type of thing. Where if it's not Matthews in front of the net, if it's anybody, if we got Kerfoot standing in front of the net, I don't care. Like Coleman said, if you're using that to move somebody, I can see that there's a purpose for that. But if you're just firing cross checks just to stand there and fire cross checks, if you're not moving somebody out of the way from the front of the net, there's no point for a cross check. That's when guys get hurt. So that's where I had a problem with some of the cross checks, like the first one,
Fine with it.
maybe even the second one. But when it's just consistent hacking, that's where it's kind of it's just useless. Is all it
Yeah.
is, right?
I loved it. You're going to see a lot more of it.
Oh yeah,
Especially from that Habs D. And it's not going to be just against
Yeah,
the
oh,
Leafs.
yeah, oh, yeah.
It's going to be against
Yeah.
every team in the Canadian division.
No, and at the end of the day, if you're a Habs fan and you're up 3-1, 4-1, and it's late in the game, you'll take the 2 minutes to give a
Oh,
cheap
yeah.
shot. I have
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem with that either, right? But in a tie game at that point, And like I'm not necessarily calling for a penalty, but we got to acknowledge at some point. And like I said, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
penalty, but that has
I
to
see
be
where
called.
you guys are coming
Yeah.
from for
That
sure.
has
I
to be
definitely
called.
see where you guys are coming from.
If you're a ref, no, sorry, you go.
I was just saying, I'm just so used to seeing Gallagher getting beat up like that.
Oh,
So to see
definitely.
Matthews take a couple cross checks and all of a sudden
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole world's
yeah,
on
yeah,
fire.
yeah.
No, and like Calgary getting cross-checked in the face last year, that's nonsense. Like that has to be like
It's
called.
it's the poster boy treatment. That's all it is.
And that's
Poster boy
yeah,
treatment.
Toronto
exactly.
media.
Sid had it
exactly.
early too.
Yeah.
Sid had all that pressure and shit.
Yep.
If I were a ref in the Canadian division and I knew I was reffing 2 Canadian teams, you're not blowing the whistle every couple minutes. You're letting the boys ref it, or you're letting the boys go themselves.
Oh yeah,
Because you're
police
gonna be
the game.
you're gonna be calling penalties every 2 minutes. The game's gonna be delayed by 30 minutes because the games are gonna be rough as fuck. They're gonna be extremely
Yeah.
rough. You got to let the boys just play it out,
Yeah.
and that makes better hockey
Yeah.
for guys like us sitting down watching. So
And both teams have enforcers now to
I love
lay
it.
the
that
law
evens
out
it
too.
out.
So
it
yeah.
evens it out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like that was a hard game, but like it wasn't dirty. Nobody crossed the line. Like
Yeah.
it just goes to show you
No.
can play
The
hockey
boys just
without.
want to compete, man. The boys just
Yeah.
want.
They just want to be out
Yeah.
there, man. They were dying for hockey, man. Like they love it just as much as we do. Imagine they're playing the game.
Yeah. Is anyone gonna bring up Sid, or do I got to do it?
Oh, I love Sid so much, man.
Wait, before we go to Sid, this will bring us into the middle. But speaking of the refs, did any of you guys see Wes McCauley start that Pittsburgh Philly game last night?
That was
I
Wes
missed it.
McCauley.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely,
Was it West?
I think it was Wes.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
Well, either way,
I know exactly. I seen. I
So-
watched it. Yeah.
every game in the World Juniors, we saw a ref do a little something like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
before he
yeah.
dropped the puck. I thought that was absurd.
I didn't like it.
Gentlemen, blah 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 blah. Like the boys were ready to go. You saw the wingers were like slashing each other. They were fired up and ready to go. And then we had to wait another 30 seconds for puck drop. It's just so anticlimactic, and I just really hope that doesn't become a habit. Anyway,
Yeah.
so moving forward in that game, Sid, Belly, go.
Well, I mean, what more do you want from the guy, right? He's done it all. You know, he's probably gonna cure a disease after his career. Like that's how unbelievable this guy is. You know, if you're kind of hot and you're making that play, you know, he's a young guy. He's understandably thinking maybe he's a little better than he thinks he is, and he's going to make that pass. And maybe he didn't know it was Sid. Maybe he did. I don't know if he was feeling confident or if he didn't think it was Sid. But you don't make that pass ever when Sid's around. Am I going to sit here and fault Hart? No. You know, we'd all probably do the same thing.
He got it up.
He did get it up, but you know, Sid's not a human, so that just
Exactly.
happens. And then what do you guys think? That's what I was going to ask. What do you think was more impressive, the turn flick
Or
in
the
with
one-
one hand, or do you think the batting it out of midair when kind of Hat tried to chuck it down the ice? What do you think?
Kinda
What
Hat.
what was the more impressive part of the play?
I think what makes all of it so great is how it just like to knock the puck down and to stop and to have the whereabouts to just instantly identify where the puck is. It's hard for me to separate one from the other.
So it's like the body movement in between both motions.
Yeah, like
In
just
between
for him to
and
stop
boom.
that quick
Yeah.
as he's turning for the out. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy's unreal.
He already knows where the puck's going when
Yeah.
he just gets that touch on his stick and his momentum's going forward. Somehow he gets his hand behind his back with one hand. I don't know. That's just
Such an
unbelievable
odd play, but
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Mid-season form Sid in the first game.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know how much of the
seriously.
game you watched, but he was. He turned the puck over a few times, making passes in the offense zone.
Yeah.
But man, like he won every puck battle in that. I watched the first 40 minutes of the game. I bet on it, and he was incredible the first 40 minutes. Like like Matt said, he was actually a mid-season form take away that goal.
Yeah.
Here's
Like,
my
he
theory.
was-
Here's my theory on Sid right now. It's like, okay, the NHL is getting so quicker. You know, Sid's not going to be able to keep up as quick as he once was. But here's my theory on what Sid's career is going to look like in the next 3, 4, 5 years. He's going to be able to adapt to the NHL, and I think you're going to see a completely different Sid than you've seen in
Yeah.
the past. How many years has he been in the NHL?
Oh God,
16 years?
that's
I,
crazy.
I think these next 7 years, you know, I don't think he's going to be as quick, but he's going to be able to work with his teammates a lot better in a way that none of us have ever seen. I just have that, after seeing that yesterday, I just feel like he's the guy who's going to work his ass off till his career's over, but with that work ethic, a whole new dynamic of Sid is going to come where he's just getting better passing the puck.
He
I
makes
just have that, I
everybody
just have
better.
that feeling.